Corrections is a complicated issue. StateImpact Oklahoma has been conducting a series of reports on life after prison. StateImpact's Logan Layden joins us with more. Logan, what does happen to inmates after prison?
Well, for the about 8,000 prisoners released each year in Oklahoma, the release date is a really exciting time. But then reality sort of sets in. It is extremely difficult to find a job, find an apartment, or even get a driver's license in a lot of cases. And I don't think a lot of people realize that for many of these ex-offenders, they're second-class citizens for the rest of their lives, even after they've paid their debt to society.
What does make it so difficult for them? Is it the law, or is it a perception, or is it a combination of factors?
Well, I think it is just, it's very widely cultural. A lot of employers don't want to hire ex-offenders, convicted felons, and any kind of employment application you fill out pretty much is going to ask you that. And having to check that box that you are a convicted felon, more often than not, that gets your application put, right directly into the trash. And the same goes for apartment complexes. Not many complexes want ex-offenders, convicted felons, living in their complexes. And if you've committed a crime that's in any way related to a vehicle, trying to get a license later is really, really impossible. And without those three things, trying to get your life back together in general, extremely difficult, unless you have a good support system on the outside, family and friends.
For these inmates that are getting out, the ones that we're talking about, what are they incarcerated for?
Well, for the ones that we've been dealing with, for the most part, we're at minimum security facilities, and they're predominantly drug offenses. We've talked to people with a variety of sentences from just a few months to, decades, but mostly drug offenders.
Where do they get job training?
Well, there's a program that we've been looking at through Career Tech, several programs that they have at about 10 facilities across the state. Of course, they've been ravaged by budget cuts over the last several years. But these are programs within the prison system that are training these inmates in things like machining, welding, construction, farming, so that they'll have some kind of certification, some kind of training whenever they get out and they're not just, released into society with nothing, no recourse.
How have budget cuts affected that training?
We've seen since 2007, as far as the Career Tech programs are concerned, I believe they were at 18 facilities then, down to 10 now, serving several hundred fewer inmates. And of course, the consensus is, and it seems like common sense, that with job training and support like that, they're less likely to come back to prison when they get out because they have other options besides crime. So the budget cuts have certainly hurt that program, and not just that program, the programs that the Department of Corrections itself tries to implement as far as education and life skills training, which can be just as important. It's great to get a job when you get out, but if you don't know how to interact with your employees or your boss, you're not going to have that job for very long.
And new laws passed under the Justice Reinvestment Initiative will help, but it will take some time for those to evolve.
It will take some time. Some would like to have seen more done as far as sentencing guidelines go, but one of the good things, or one of the things that appears to be positive that it does, is to make mandatory the supervision 9 months after they get out of jail. That should help some.
Logan Layden from StateImpact Oklahoma, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.